Hello and welcome to Memorable Marketing by MediaGroup, episode 9. Today we got a special guest. We got Lars. He is the digital marketing manager for Sax Lift. Sax Lift is a business that makes production tables for industries, and they've been around since the 90s. And what's interesting about them is they've gone from a journey of going the traditional old way to now being 100% digital. A couple of things. We're working very closely with Sax Lift as MediaGroup, and Lars will talk about some of the percentages and some of the increases that he has out of working with us. So hope you'll enjoy it.
We have to get them curious about our product and our business. That's the first step.
Welcome to Memorable Marketing, episode 9. Today we got a special guest. We are lucky to have with us Lars from Sax Lift. Lars, thanks for joining us on the podcast.
Thank you very much.
So Lars, I always like to get started a little bit on your background. Who is Lars, and what did you do before you joined Sax Lift?
So I was working as a self-employed consultant in the marketing industry, and I was primarily focusing on the digital version of it and was working online with other businesses. That was what I was doing before, and before that I was working in a advertising company.
And you've always been drawn to advertising and marketing and digital marketing?
Actually, my original background is from sales, but I have always been working with the internet, and I was pretty quick on creating my own webpage when the internet came back in the late 90s. So yeah, I have always been online. And
you managed to secure an early.com, which is very hard these days with the short letters at least, yeah? Or
Yeah, something. I should have bought some domains back then. But
and one should have bought Bitcoin, and one should have, all those things.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of regrets.
No. So and now you work at Sax Lift. For those people who don't know what Sax Lift is, can you give us a definition of what Sax Lift is, the company?
Sax Lift is a production and sales company that do heavy lift tables for primarily the industry, and we sell this all over Europe.
So what kind of tables are those? Just want to get in more detail.
It's typically the products that are used in production and other kinds of industries where they have to do heavy lifting, like at least a few hundred kilos and up to several tons of lifts. Yeah,
people that can manage that huge weight on their table.
It is, yeah.
Got it. Okay, so just making sure it's not the average IKEA table we are talking about here.
Absolutely not. No. We don't have any experience in doing that kind of lift.
All right. So, and how old is Sax Lift as a company?
Sax Lift was started in 1993.
And you've joined them recently, a year and a half ago. Is that correct?
Yeah, I actually joined them right when COVID hit in April last year. Yeah.
All right. And Sax Lift is now going on a digital journey. Can you talk a little bit about where Sax Lift has been before from a marketing perspective and where you are now?
Back in the day, Sax Lift did what many other kinds of businesses did, advertise in newspapers and in all kinds of print media. Yeah. They had a sales consultant that was visiting our potential customers. That was how it worked back then. And of course, the word of mouth was also involved in getting new customers. Yeah.
Okay. So that was the old way of working. And how are you doing it today?
Now we source our potential customers primarily digital, only on the internet.
Yeah. So you put an ad out and you create them into a sales funnel, or can you walk me through that process?
Well, we do advertise on all the relevant medias on the internet, of course, Google, but also Microsoft and other small platforms. So, yeah. And we do try to put them in a platform or in a funnel where we, of course, try to illustrate us as a business and a potential partner for their problems.
And the journey of going from them clicking on ad to getting into your sales funnel to them booking a call with you, how long is that journey? Do they do anything in the meantime, or they go straight to talking to a sales consultant, or what's the next step?
Well, we would prefer that, definitely. Well, I would say that we probably, from the customers meet us from the first time to we actually get in contact with them, is between 1 or 2 months, probably. Yeah.
And is that because you're waiting for them to call you, or you're waiting to call them? What's the delay? What's the process?
Well, we have to wait them for them to request a call from us. That's how it works. Well, we have to get them curious about our product and our business. That's the first step. And when we have done that, we would prefer them to be looking at us again, and then we try to get them, of course, to get in closer contact with us, with our services and our knowledge.
And so in that meantime, those 1 to 2 months you have in their sales funnel, you send them more information, you send them reports, you send them pictures, something happening automatically, or what's going on in that period?
Nah, we're not we're not doing it that way. We are not into any kind of automation right now. We are primarily focusing on the search engines, and being relevant to them at the search engines, and present the right kind of pages for them when they visit our website, and of course making sure that they hit that button.
Lars, you mentioned before that the search engine has increased a lot. What has happened on your back end to increase those search engine results?
Well, first of all, creating the content and creating pages that was directly related to our customers' needs was really important for us. But also writing the small piece of meta text on our pages that is presented on the search result page on Google. It's called the meta text. That is something that we have worked a lot with, and that is really something that has done it for us. And we have seen an increase in our traffic from Google's result pages in almost 140%. Putting a lot of time and effort in understanding what should be written in the meta description, and what it is that our customers or potential customers will see when they have done a search. That's really, really something.
Well, 140%. That's impressive. That's well done. That's good to hear.
Yeah, we are proud of that.
And in that journey for the customers, do you get most of your traffic from ads, or do you get most of your traffic from SEO, or what's the mix ratio here?
We do get a lot of traffic from ads, a lot. Yeah, that is our primarily way of getting potential customers to our website. Of course, we do get our traffic from the search engines and Google Ads in particular, but we are working a lot of getting more organic traffic from the search engines.
And so, are you in a process now of looking into expanding your search engine optimization on your side?
Yeah, definitely. We are always looking of ways to expanding Google or any search engine's knowledge about our website. Yeah, that is something that we work on every day.
Every day. Okay. And so what do you actively do to increase your SEO, if I may ask?
We try to understand the way our customers need help, and then creating relevant information for them on our website.
Okay. So by understanding your customer better, what they're searching for, you can then populate your website with those answers that they're looking for. Hopefully that's going to reflect when people are searching. Yeah, that makes sense. So,
that's a big matter for us, to understanding our customers. Of course, we do understand our customers. Whenever we talk to them on the phone, it's so easy for us to help them, and we have so many years of experience in creating these solutions. But when it comes to online, the situation is totally different. They search differently and looking for answers differently, even across Europe.
Yes, and different languages, different cultures, different ways of expressing themselves.
Different devices also. We see a lot of different numbers on the same behavior. That's really interesting.
Interesting. So Lars, let's go back to you starting in April last year, right when the COVID hits. Your first day at office. What do you do when you start a company that has been traditionally very print oriented? What's the first thing you do when you're trying to make them go more digital, or was some stuff already done when you got there? Where was the company in the process?
They were actually doing pretty good when I arrived, but on the scale that they were doing it was really necessary for them to have the knowledge internally, because they were relying on external people, and getting the right answer and the right feeling in their guts was a big step, and that was something that they were looking for, and that's where I came.
When you are working for Sax Lift now, you are then, of course, trying to increase all the different metrics you have, but you also still work with outside agencies, no?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. We do work with agencies. We cannot do it without agencies. I mean,
and why is that, if I may ask?
The knowledge that they have, it's really important to us. I know a lot, but I not that much. Especially for our Google Ads, it's really important for us to have, on the scale that we are working with Google Ads, we need people that really understand it deeply, and I cannot present that knowledge to the company, and that's really important for us too.
And that's because everything changes and everything gets deeper and deeper, and there's more and more algorithm understanding one has to go in and look at for each, whether it's Google Ads or whether it's search engine optimization. Everything changes all the time.
Yeah. I'm trying to keep up with all the knowledge and all the changes that's been done, but it's really nice to have a company that are kind of like doing nothing but that for us, and that's really great.
Because what was knowledge 2 years ago is not the same knowledge today, because things have changed dramatically over a period of just 6 months. Everything changes. I mean, 6 months online is a lifetime offline, right? It's just constantly never ending.
Yeah, it is. I mean, from on a weekly basis, I would say a lot of changes happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's dramatic, actually.
What's your biggest challenge right now?
Well, I would say that the Google update on the Google update called Core Web Vitals is really what we're struggling with right now. Yeah, it's a great challenge. I mean, it made us look deeply into our way of doing digital business, and we made some decisions based on that. We have an old platform that drives our website, and it's time to change.
Okay, so was it something in particular that made you decide to change your website, or what is it exactly that happened in that update?
Well, it contributed. The Google update contributed to that decision, but it was an old platform, and I was struggling in getting the most out of it when I was creating content. So we've been talking about it, and of course there was a lot of old culture built into it. That was the way it worked, and this is how we do it, and it's that button in that corner I use when I have to update this and that. And I came as this new guy and say, that's it. Let's look into other ways of doing it. And of course the culture have to meet but yeah, definitely the Google updates helped us doing the right decision, and that is switching to a new platform.
When you say platform, is that a CRM or?
Yeah.
So can you give me an example of some of the conversion rates for paid media over time?
Well, 98% of potential customers using Google or Microsoft search engines are not customers, but clicking on your ads. So that leaves us with about 2% that is actually in the market and is able to convert. And those are the people that we are really interested in. And those are also these are the numbers that we're these are the customers that we're focusing on. And we have been continuously working on our paid media and our whole advertising setup, especially on Google, by creating more relevant ad copies and dividing our ad strategy up into funnels. So we have a strategy on people that we place in top of the funnel and in the middle of the funnel and in the bottom of the funnel. So we have implemented that, and that alone actually did increase, I would say, our conversion with up to 22%.
Okay.
So that's pretty awesome.
That's pretty awesome. Is that the ad copy that has changed to 22%, or what do you think it is that has changed it so you increase it by 22%?
Well, of course, it's the ad copy, but it's the new structure, as we call it, in general, that changed the conversion rate dramatically, because we did get way more relevant visitors through to our website, and by understanding their needs from the top of the funnel to the bottom of the funnel, we had content that was relevant for them, and that made it 22% more easier for us to get them to convert.
Okay. That's awesome. And you're still at 98% of people clicking the ad are still not relevant. So did that changing the ad copy, did that change that percentage of people who are relevant?
Well, the 98% that are not in the market it's more or less a general number for every business using ads. Yeah.
The 22% increased conversion, that affects the bottom line of your business.
I hope so. I really hope so. There's been a lot of time and a lot of effort put into that, and of course, yeah, we do see an increase in the numbers.
Okay,
which is great.
So we spoke about search engine optimization, which you guys are working on. How are the numbers for SEO coming in?
Great, actually great. The big change was when you hire a digital marketing manager is that I understand the customer's behavior, and I have a better way of diving into the needs and creating content that relates to the searches. Before the company was more or less doing product presentation. Like, this is a lift table and this is what it can do for you, and this is the numbers and the sizes and stuff like that. And that's not what people are particularly searching for in the first phases. That's way down the line when they want to be product specific. So I did see the need of creating different kind of content so that we would have a way of the search engine to understand the content, and by that way being more relevant to certain searches done on the internet. So we did a lot of landing page creation based on keyword analysis.
Got it. Yeah. And that has really helped. And how much more traffic or how much more increase are you seeing from that work?
I would hope that we, within the end of the year, would have 100% increase of traffic. I mean, it's 85%, I think, today, which we have increased our traffic, and that's a lot.
That is a lot.
That is a lot, yeah.
So correct me if I'm wrong here, because when you run paid ads, of course you're going to get traffic, but the moment you turn the paid ads up, the traffic stops coming. But whereas the SEO, you do the groundwork, but you still keep getting organic traffic coming in. So it's a fine balance between the two of them. But paid traffic is, of course, more expensive than search engine optimization. So it's a fine balance right now. Can you, without mentioning numbers, can you tell me percentage-wise how much you're spending on paid media versus spending on SEO? Can you clarify that?
That's a really tough question, Thomas. You ask here because when we work on our SEO optimization, it's like man hours invested in. It's my everyday job to create and understand content. While we have on our paid media, we have a strategy that we work together with MediaGroup with, and so we do spend a lot of time on optimizing our website, and it's a really good investment. It's a long-term investment, while the paid media is a short investment that works.
Lars, when you started, you mentioned that you were doing mostly paid ads and very little SEO. Now you've been there a year and a half. What's the percentage of spent on paid ad and now SEO versus what it was back then, if you can reference that?
That's a great question. I would say it's at least, well, back then they were spending almost 100% of the effort on paid ads.
Yeah.
But I would say today we at least use 50% of our time and money on optimizing for search engines, and leaving the last 50% on the paid media. And that is a number that is increasing. As we have been working on our paid media for so long with MediaGroup now, that we are I have a big confidence in the setup is really well functioning, and we would have to only focus on the optimization of it.
Yeah.
That leaves a lot of time for the SEO effort that is done locally at home in Sax Lift. And yeah.
Right. So going from 100% to 50%, that's a major increase in SEO.
It is. Yeah, it is. It is, and it will increase in the future.
Okay,
it would be now the number on the SEO effort will increase a lot in the future.
Do you foresee a future, either close by or in a couple of years, where it's going to be 100% SEO and 0% on advertising, or will there always be some on paid media?
There will always be something on paid media, I guess. Yeah.
SEO will become a majority of the paid media, because right now you're 50-50.
I hope so, because it's as long as we invest a lot of time on optimization of our website,
yeah,
it will kick back in the future, definitely, and that will be a way for us to reaching the goals on sales that we are going for. I mean, there is a limit on paid media. There will be a limit where we cannot spend more to get more back, and that number is something that we are looking into now, and we are testing some changes on our way of investing the money. But there will be a natural limit in our business where we cannot just increase it by 400% and then get 400% return of it. So that limit is where we're searching for that limit right now. Yeah, and that means that this increase in our sales and of course in our traffic, that will be done on search engine optimization.
Okay. We talked about earlier that you are all across Europe, and as most people know who either live in Europe or has been to Europe once, there's a lot of different countries and a lot of different languages. How do you do search engine optimization across multiple countries and multiple languages?
That's a really good question. Well, we work with the right companies. That's really important. And we of course have salespeople that speak the local languages, and they can do a lot of it together with me. So I try to understand I do a lot of keyword analysis in the local countries, and I have meetings with my salespeople to understand the content of the analysis that I do, and based on that, we create content that is relevant to these searches, and of course there will be things that we will need external companies to help us with, and we also do that.
So you now know what the production table words is in French and Portuguese and Spanish and Italian and and then Greek, or is that what you're learning these days?
I try not to know as much as on our products. Actually, I try to close my ears when they talk about our products, because as long as I don't understand anything about the products, I probably also understand how our customers see our content on the website, because they would probably know nothing about lift tables, and that's where I'm trying to be.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Are you
internally? They don't understand why I don't want to know anything about lift tables. But
so, are you seeing some countries performing better in Europe than others, or is there any reason for that?
Yeah, of course we do. I mean, we have countries with little activity, and we have countries with a lot of activity. Yeah.
Because you have salespeople there, or?
I think the needs and the way of doing production in these countries are fitted really good to our products, actually. The eastern part of Europe is increasing in numbers, but we also see a few countries where the needs are not as big as they are in other countries.
So you started a year and a half ago. How far have Sax Lift come in the digital journey from your point of view? If this was a marathon, are you at the first kilometer, the second kilometer? Where are you on the journey? Or will you ever be completed? Will you ever finish?
Well, I know that a marathon is like 42 kilometers or something like that. And I would say the journey that we are on is ongoing that will never stop. Never. So we have increased a lot on our digital journey. Absolutely. But it's not like I can see a finish line out there. Never. That's never going to happen.
All right, Lars, it's been absolutely a pleasure speaking with you. I know you mentioned earlier that you guys are working on a new website because you said the old website was not on par and it was made a long time ago. So all the SEO you're doing, of course, will get migrated to the new website. Are you changing a website because the way it was built is no longer functional in today's world, or why are you changing the website?
I would say it was absolutely slow when it comes to the digital numbers that we can. Well, actually, Google provides us with. It was a really slow website, and we have to focus on presenting our content to mobile devices, and the numbers were not good. Yeah, actually, are really horrible. Yeah, and so we had to change it.
So I want to thank you for being part of the podcast here for Memorable Marketing by MediaGroup, and I wish you a wonderful day.
Well, thank you for having me. It was really interesting.
Sane.
Thomas.
Yes, always at the end of each episode of Memorable Marketing, I bring you in. You are our podcast producer, and you sit here and listen to everything that's being said and making sure we sound fine. And I always like to ask, what did you learn in this podcast?
This one was really interesting, I think, mostly because you get to see kind of the results of a company that wasn't really paying a lot of attention to digital marketing or updating their digital marketing techniques into a company that has spent the last 18 months into really investing into their digital marketing and what a difference it has made for them. Some of the numbers that he threw out there were really impressive, like hundreds and 40%. And like, that's really something. that is impressive to me as a layperson, but I assume that when that is reflected in a business's profits, that's even more impressive.
Yeah.
So I think that's really interesting. Mostly to me is having this case study of someone of a company that wasn't paying a lot of attention to SEO specifically, but also how they were creating, I guess, awareness of their business through Google Ads and what have you.
Yes.
So I think that was what I picked up on.
I think it's just from my perspective, and I'm just talking as Thomas here, I know I'm talking as memorable marketing, but as Thomas, it's like things are just changing so fast. I mean, it's just so hard to keep up with what's going on, and it's getting so complex, and it's just getting so constantly never ending, constantly evolving. I mean, Facebook and Google is in perpetual beta, and things are just changing constantly. And I think that if companies are not paying attention, are not constantly on the beat, they're going to miss out because somebody else will come in and figure it out and potentially take their customers.
Absolutely. And I think, again, what was touched on is the main strategy that they're using is creating content that's relevant to their customers. And by putting that on their website, I guess through that reward process, the internet is becoming a more rich place for content. So it's good for the end user as well as for businesses trying to reach the end user.
I like that. That's a very good point you're making, saying that businesses have to be better at providing value. Value in terms of that, so people can find what they're looking for, but also it helps the search engine. So it's like a double plus.
It's a win-win-win.
It's a win-win.
So Google wins, the business wins, and the customers and the public wins.
So one just have to be more open towards servicing the needs of your customers from a much earlier stage before they even become customers, just giving them that value. I like that.
And I think that's reflected in the strategy that was shown here, is in that they are currently 50-50 SEO and paid ads, but SEO is probably going to keep moving forward because it keeps changing and you have to keep focusing on that. But there's always going to be a place for paid advertising because there always has been. And I think that's an archetype that a lot of people understand, but SEO is something that keeps changing, and you do kind of have to keep on your toes.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your 5 cents.
You're very welcome.
A pleasure. Always great to have you come in and talk about what you thought of the episode. Thank you, Zane.
I'll see you next time.
See you.